Good morning, guys. Welcome to the podcast. Happy holidays. We've got a fantastic guest coming out of Denver, Colorado, Judy Murdoch, marketer. She's going to talk to us about her insights, her experience, what she does with clients. We're going to talk about where marketing is going in 2025, what to look for, and I'm always happy to pick her brain. So, Judy, welcome.
Thank you very much, Christopher. It's good to be here.
Yeah. Begin just by introducing yourself, and I'm excited to dive into the questions.
Okay, cool. So I'm Judy Murdoch. As Christopher said, my company is called Marketing Rootwork, and I work with heart-centered, mission-focused entrepreneurs who don't necessarily like conventional marketing very much. They find it a little bit, they're just not comfortable with it. They often tell me that it's not for them. So I really focus on word of mouth marketing and referral marketing because it's very personal and because most of us know how to do referral marketing. It's something that humans have been doing it forever. So that is the focus for the
Yeah.
business. So those are the people I work with.
Yeah. Very interesting. And so what's interesting is I've been studying, like I've built my socials a lot through organic marketing.
Right.
How is that different from word of mouth and referral marketing?
Actually, I don't think it is, actually. I think I see referral marketing and word of mouth as being it is organic because it is based on relationships. It is, yeah, I think I will just stop right there. It's based on human relationships, people who know and like you.
Yeah. And so a follow-up question I have for you is how does, because I've been recently really paying attention to a lot of big social media influencers, and
Mhm.
what they're saying is viral marketing. So how does
Hmm.
word of mouth, referral, organic differ from viral marketing?
So the way I'm going to answer this is viral marketing can be organic. It can be. What do I want to say about viral marketing? Because I have studied it, and that used to be like a focus of my business. So, viral marketing is this idea that the way you talk about a particular company or business, let's go back to word of mouth for a minute and referral marketing to give you some context. So, the whole reason people give referrals is to look good. Now, there are other benefits and reasons people do it, but ultimately, I think you probably have had the experience of when you're talking with somebody and they are sharing a problem or some sort of a challenge with you, and you can say to them, you know what, I know a really great person or business, and they can help you. They help me or they help someone else I know. And it feels really good, right? Like you feel, yeah, like I'm the hero, like I showed up and I helped this person solve an issue. So now the person with the issue is going to get a solution. And of course, the business you've sent them to, that business will get a new client. So it's a really nice sort of a win. But again, just to be really super clear that the whole reason anybody gives a referral is we look good. We look good to our peers. We look good to our communities. So that's why we do that. Viral marketing is a piece of that, right? So again, we viral marketing is the idea that there's something that is so cool, you can't ignore it. And you feel compelled to share it with other people. That is what makes something viral. You do need to hit a critical level of people who are sharing this information, but ultimately, that's what drives viral marketing. So I'm a big fan of viral marketing, and where I am cautious is on sometimes I think we business owners, companies can try too hard to be viral, and it can really backfire.
Yeah. Yeah. Which brings me to my next question is, so in this day and age, how should people be thinking about marketing? Like what types of strategies? Is it going to be radio, TV? Is it going to be
Uh,
blogging? Is it going to be content? Talk about that.
oh my gosh. Okay. So the way I'm going to respond to your question is I'm going to say it is people. Okay. And it's really interesting because I was just reading an article earlier today about platforms, which is exactly what you're talking about. A platform, a content platform, for example, where people are sharing content and other people come to the platform to get that information. And when I talk, let me give you a little bit of context with the internet and digital marketing online. So the way I see digital marketing is I see it more as supporting your marketing strategy. I don't see, and again, this is for the people I work with. I tend to work with people who are coaches and information experts and healers and therapists. So these are people who are in some very high touch places. And so trust is really important, if that makes sense. I'm not against digital marketing, but I think at its core, marketing is always about relationships, and in particular, trust-based relationships, which means high touch. And high touch means what you and I are doing right now. We can see each other, we can look at each other's faces and expressions. And that goes a long way. Human beings are by nature in-person creatures. So I see platforms as ways to become aware of a business, places where, that's where you can create visibility. But ultimately, at least for the folks I work with, in order for business to happen, for money to be exchanging hands, I just really emphasize creating a human connection and having a trust-based relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. The next question I have for you is, in this day and age, you talk about what's really interesting is a lot of marketers, they're on the, like they're shouting, they're the loudest, and or the
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
but you talk about how you market for people who hate social media.
Right. Yeah.
Is it possible to build a successful business without social media?
Yes. And again, let me just share with you what the strategy looks like for somebody who may really be like, well, how do you even do it? Because we're so used to social media as the way for people to get to know us. What I do personally, what I tell clients to do is network. We go to networking, we meet people. One of the nice things I will say about this time and date and time is that we can network virtually, which is really nice. And we can build relationships that way. What I do is I literally keep track of people with whom I feel an affinity and they may not be clients, but they might be a collaborator. They might be a source of referrals. They might just be somebody cool that I want to get to know better. But I follow up with everybody. I follow up. We have a conversation, 20, 30 minutes. My focus is always to learn about them and to really understand what are their challenges, what do they need? And I share mine. And the focus is how can we help each other? How can we create a mutually beneficial relationship? And that's a lot of people to be keeping track of, but I use a pretty simple sort of customer relationship management tool. And I follow up with people. And I also have a Substack, which is another way that I get in touch with people, but it's about touch points. It's about talking to people, reaching out to people, doing all of those things that we do to create relationships with other human beings.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I really love your unconventional approach. And the question I have for you is, because you mentioned Substack, and
Yes.
what is the value? Which types of people should be using Substack and Medium? What kind of audience resonates with that platform?
Those platforms are for people who love to write. Those are platforms that are created specifically for people
Yeah.
who really love to communicate through the written word. I happen to be one of those people. I really like to write. I find it very pleasurable to express myself using the written word. And honestly, I am just beginning to really delve into how to grow my Substack community and subscribers. What my focus is currently is doing the same kind of outreach. So again, looking for sort of affinity communities, When I see something that is genuinely interesting to me, I will comment. Writers love comments. And so it's a good way to, again, but we're building relationships, we're building community, we're building trust. And yeah, it's funny how at some point you hit a critical mass where enough people know about you that things really take off. But honestly, I am still in those beginning stages right now.
Uh-huh.
But because I'm a writer, I have high hopes that, I can grow my Substack community and subscribers.
Uh-huh. Interesting. And so because you mentioned, like, why would somebody choose Substack over Medium? And for example, when you mentioned written word, there's a blog, there's newsletter, there's LinkedIn, and there's Twitter. So how do you choose?
I'll tell you why I chose. Initially, I was using MailChimp, which is more of you pay them a certain fee, they allow you to create and grow a database of subscribers, et cetera, et cetera. The reason that I went with Substack specifically is Substack, again, it's very much created for writers and writers who want to create community. And one of the things that a lot of people like about Substack is you can create paid subscribers. Clearly, that can become a revenue stream for you, assuming you are writing something that people value enough so they're willing to pay you to receive your newsletters and such. So there is an emphasis on quality and really understanding what your readers want.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
that's why I chose Substack specifically, is because I'm really focusing on the writing and my relationship with my subscribers and community. I'm not really selling a lot of things through my newsletter. So the newsletter actually is the product.
Huh.
If I wanted to do something where I was doing a lot of products and offers, I might be more likely to use a service like MailChimp or Constant Contact, some of those other mail management type tools.
Yeah. Interesting. Because I have a newsletter as well. And what I really love about it is just because it's like very intimate. I feel it's like very intimate. It's like a podcast, except in written. And the people that are on the newsletter love the newsletter.
That's
My,
great.
yeah. And my question for you is, you say the newsletter or your Substack is the product, but
Mhm.
then how are you monetizing it? What are you doing to generate revenue?
The subscriptions are paid. So people
Uh-huh.
are basically paying
Okay.
to receive my newsletter.
Uh-huh.
And trying to think, what do people pay? Usually $12 a month, $80 a year. It varies.
Uh-huh.
Again, it's nice from the perspective that if you're doing something you really love
Mm.
and you're creating content that your audience really loves,
Yeah.
like that's a nice way to monetize your content.
Oh, interesting. And what would get somebody to pay for a subscription versus, because there's so many free newsletters and great content. Like, why would somebody what would make them pay for a subscription to read the content?
That's a great question. Okay, so at its very simplest, generally speaking, you usually will offer some additional benefits for your paid subscribers. For example, some people have what they call like the secret newsletter, and only paid subscribers get the secret newsletter. Another thing that I'm thinking about doing for my paid subscribers is to offer something like, let's say, a twice a month office hours. Just come in, show up between this time and this time. You can ask me anything you want. So something like that. So I think oftentimes when it's a paid subscription, I think what people are paying for is more access and a greater sense of intimacy with the person who's the writer.
Yeah. Interesting. And how do you go from, if people are listening to this, they have a blog or they got an email list and they've got a newsletter and it's a lot of it's free, but they offer a lot of like products and services. If someone wanted to start a subscription, how would they approach it with their audience? What is the best way to launch a subscription newsletter?
I think going back to what I said, it would be, I would really think about it as I would think about it in the same way I would think about launching a new program, launching a new product, something like that, where it's, hey, I have this new paid subscription opportunity. if you subscribe, if you sign up for this, you will get whatever the goodies are that you're giving to people.
Yeah.
Just to be really clear too, that this means you understand your audience, you know what they want. See, we're coming back to relationships again, and you're going to offer them something that they're really genuinely excited about. You don't, it's not like some, I don't know, random offer. If I had a comic book thing on Substack, it would be some kind of really super cool inside, hey, you get to meet the artist, or I'm going to have a conversation with the guy that, you know, is the writer for this particular comic book series. You really want it to be something that people really value and are excited about.
Very interesting. And so for the people that have a free email newsletter and they want to segment it out into subscribers that actually pay for the subscription, how do you start dividing up your time? Like now you have to start creating content for those. How do you do that?
It is pretty much what you said, right? It's like you're starting a new product or a new service, and you have to set aside additional time and effort to do that. I approach things very strategically. And so I really do think about, if I'm going to do like a product launch, it's a product launch. And it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. And that's something to really take into account.
Yeah.
I write because I like to write. So for me, it's a pleasure to create that kind of content. If you don't like to write, if you would rather do a podcast, I'm very big on do what you enjoy, because business is a long game, right? It takes a long time to build followers and such. And so it's really important that your cup's getting filled.
Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah, very fascinating. How, if people wanted to find you, because I really love the writers and the people that are the creators blogging, how could people find you, follow you, reach out to you, check out your newsletter, sign up for your newsletter, subscribe to it, etc.?
The absolute best way to find me is Substack /JudyMurdoch.com.
Yeah.
And I am on Substack and I'm writing.
Excellent.
And if you want to reach out and make comments or tell me something that you'd really like me to address in my newsletter, I really love those comments.
Yeah. Excellent. I really enjoyed this. Keep up the good work, and happy
Same.
holidays.
Thank you so much, Christopher. Thank you for inviting me on your podcast.